Sinamsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. So with me today, I'm with Amanda. How are you, Amanda?
I'm great. I'm excited for the topic today, and it's bright and early here in Canada.
That is 6 a.m., right?
Mhm.
Awesome, awesome. So our topic today is They Taught You Survival, Not Happiness. So it's time to choose different. You were taught how to survive, how to keep quiet, keep going, and keep peace, but not how to live with joy, peace, or authenticity. So, in this video, we are going to break down how to identify and release the family patterns that silence control your life. You don't have to repeat what hurt you. You can heal, you can choose differently. Over to you, Amanda. What do you think about the topic?
I think this is a really good. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of a cold. I think this is a really good topic because I think sometimes people don't even realize that they're in survival mode, that they're just like go, 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 go. And because of what they grew up with or what they like know, like the only patterns that they've known, they don't even realize that their body is like in this constant state of survival. And when we're in a constant state of survival, our cortisol levels spike, right? And then it's like actually causes disease in your body where you're not like feeling good, you get sick more often, you just really are not like doing well in general. And I know for myself, like when I was in a situation where it was like very much survival, I like got bronchitis like almost every year, like clockwork. I got what's it called? The one with chickenpox, where it's like not chickenpox, but it's like a after you get chickenpox, you can get this other one. I forget what it's called, but it's caused by stress, and it's a variation of the chickenpox. Anyways, I got that. Like all of these different things that like kept showing up to show me that like things were not okay, right? And in my head, I was just like in this like survival of like get up, get going, take care of my daughter, like do all the things. And I was just starting to like collapse essentially. And so when you start to learn new patterns, you start to like bring peace into your life. And then you also like, I haven't been sick in like so long, even though I said I'm getting a little bit of a cold, but also I teach children and there's like half of my class has colds right now. um, but there definitely is like times where you're like you don't even realize you're in survival mode until it's too late and you end up like sick in your body or your will just like shut down essentially because it's just overwhelmed.
Yeah, I like that, Amanda, when you say when you were living on a survival mode, you were like getting sick with different sickness, like picking up anything you can get,
I
any
remember
sick
I remember the chickenpox ones. Now it's shingles.
shingles.
Yeah, yeah, which is brought on by stress. Yeah, I got shingles when I like when my daughter was like 6 months old.
Yeah, I like that because the people don't realize that when you are in a survival mode, you can just pick anything. I never used to get sick, but then I went to this place where I just get cold all the time. For me, it was the flu. I just get cold all the time, and I couldn't understand what was going on. And I realized, but I wasn't stressed, so I realized that actually things have to change. So I just started changing my mindset and things like that because there are things sometimes when you're raised things that you are like the pattern that you follow. And then I was like, okay, let me rewrite my story now. And I like it when you say sometimes there are times where we do things and they affect us, but we don't realize that is affecting us. And some people, it can affect them confident wise as well, because that's how they were raised. But then because they are fighting the personality that is not them, that was planted on them. And instead of becoming who they are meant to be, so they end up getting stressed, and the stress, it becomes illness, and you just keep fighting and just keep fighting life all the time. So I like that you pointed that out, and I hope that our audience will understand that when you feel anxiety, or you feel guilty, or you feel emptiness, um, that can explain why all the time, if you feel that all the time. But we don't have to feel guilty. We don't have to feel emptiness in our heart. We can just rewrite our story how we want it to be.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, right? Is learning how to rewrite your story so that you can shift the direction of your life, right? If you look at your life and you think about where you were at 5 years ago, have you changed anything, right? And really, it's about how you show up each and every day that gives you the results for 5 years down the road. And so, if nothing in the last 5 years has really shifted, and it's like the same job, the same patterns, the same everything, then if you're happy with that, great. But if you want to get somewhere else, you have to start doing like daily habits that are going to shift so that you can bring new things into your life. And so it might even be something as simple as like joining a sports team, or like starting a new hobby, or anything that's going to bring more joy and happiness into your life, right? And so I would even take a moment and be like, what is it that you do that brings joy into your life? Because I think that's really important. And as adults, I don't think we think about that very often. We're just go, 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 go in survival mode. And we don't take time to be like, okay, what really brings me joy? And how often am I spending time doing those things that really bring me joy? And so you should have some time each and every day. We have 24 hours a day. You should have some time each and every day that you're doing something that brings you joy. And if you're not, then how could you shift that? Even if you can spend half an hour doing something that brings you joy, then that at least is going to bring a little bit more joy into your life. And then the more often that you do that, you'll find more time for it, and you'll find more time for it, and there'll be more things that pop up in your life that allow you to do it more often. And I think that's something that's really important, because if you look at your like weeks, and I'm looking at my week this week, and I have a very busy week, and I like to go to the gym every day. And so this week I knew that there was like, well, I know for sure there was one day that I'm not able to go because I have to work until about 8:30, from like 8 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go to the gym that day. But I'm like looking at the rest of my week and being like, can I make it to the gym each and every day? And I need to make that a priority, because it affects my mental health, it affects my physical health, it affects like the joy that I have each day. And so those things are really important to do, is to just look at your week and how can you bring in things that bring you joy.
Like that, Amanda, when you talk about, think about how you show up every day to the world, and you also do things that brings you joy into your life, because some people believe that someone else has to bring joy to their lives, but actually is the things that we do ourselves just for us that brings joy in our lives. And everything. And sometimes you find that people are miserable, and you ask them why. They tell you the stories, but you're like, you can make your life very, very simple. And by just doing, those small things that we ignore, like you say, Amanda, are those things that brings joy. Like when you go to the gym, you go for a walk, just maybe might be like you say, sports, it might be sports, like it's something that you love to do, and just take that step and just go for it. But some people, there are people when they have kids, their lives, it becomes all about children, and their life, it becomes all about other people. They completely neglect themselves. And they think that there's going to be a right time where they're going to be able to bring joy. But there's no right time. You got to do what you got to do in this moment of time while you're still living, each and every single day. Bring joy to your life.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Sorry, I had to get up for a second because my daughter's alarm was going off because it's early here. And that alarm does not bring me joy at all. Nomza, when you think about it, your life, what is it that you do each week or each day that like brings joy into your life? I know that you like pray a lot and that you do different things. I know for myself, I've been trying to like meditate more regularly, and also like bring in creativity because I think that's really important is to bring creativity into your life. Sorry. Oh,
Bless you.
because something simple as like even like those mindfulness coloring books can bring a lot of like calm into your life, which some people don't even realize how calming it can be just to spend some time um coloring, right? And so that brings you out of that survival mode and into this content mode. Oh my goodness. My sneezing. um so when you choose even an activity that's just going to shift a little bit, so like if you watch TV and that makes you feel like more exhausted, what is it that you can do even while you're watching TV to just like bring more calmness into your body? So you could color probably and watch TV at the same time, right? Or people even knit and watch TV. And I know for myself, when unless I'm like really like watching something that's really engaging, I always am doing like something in the background, right? I'll be like creating something, creating like some picture or prompts or something for my students, or I'll be doing something while the TV's on in the background on something I'm like half watching, right? Unless I lay down to like actually watch a movie, I choose other things that like help like regulate me so that I can not feel like I'm in survival mode. Because if I spend a little bit of time on my computer creating for work the next day, then I'm not in survival mode when I get to work the next day, right? Like I'm like, oh, I've already got this. I've got all of these things organized and prepared, and because I like being creative and I like things just to be just so. If I do my work in my pajamas on the couch, it's much less survival mode than it is when I'm like rushing around at work. So Namza, what is it that you do that help you get out of that survival mode?
For me, is spending time with God. That helps me to really show up as I am, and also doing exercises. It helps me to stay focused. All those two things, they help me to be able to focus and get creative with things and be able to help my children however they want to be, and just do the things that I've meant to do. Like you said, Amanda, that you have to do things that brings joy to your life. For me, without God, there is no joy, because I know that if I'm wanting to get creative and if I want to create something, I have to pray about it and find out whether it's the right thing for me to do or not. So that's why I love spending time with God. And I don't get anxiety because I know that I'm not alone. And it helps me to face the reality as it is, because there are some people who are Christians, but they lie to themselves when they going through tough times. They like God is going to sort things out, but God, it does not work like that. for them, they sort of relax, and when things don't get sorted out, they get disappointed. For me, I know that I need to create something for God to work on it. So I got to get creative. I got to do things that I'm meant to do, and just read the Bible. I get involved on WhatsApp Bible studies and just challenging myself. Like I was a slow reader before, and I went to church, and my pastor said, I need evangelist, someone who can read fast. And this girl, she was reading so fast, and I was like, I can't read like that. So I've been practicing to read really fast and at the same time take the information in. So I've accomplished that. So yeah. Yeah, so sometimes it is good. Like that's why I always tell people that there are things that we were taught, the patterns that we were taught, that when you cry, you tell your child to shut up, don't try, don't embarrass, don't do this. But for me, I try to teach my children, if you feel like crying, go ahead and scream and cry. So, because life is not always going to be lovey-dovey. I cried a lot when I was young. Just used to cry a lot. If my sisters, they don't look after me, I just cry, and they will just look after me, and then I'll be okay. But now I grow up to be a tough person. Um, I don't feel sorry for myself when I've got problems. I face them, and I know that I'm not alone. God is always there, and then I conquer them. So, what about you, Amanda? What is that thing that you do as a single mom that helps you to to cope each and every day without worrying about the world?
I definitely, for me, it's getting exercise regularly. It's also been like getting into a like routine so that we like put our phones away at like 9:30 and like making sure that I like prepare food the week before so that I have like those things that are making it so that it's not just survival all the time, right? So I usually like make a big soup in the winter on Sundays so that I have like soup every day for week for work, like for lunch, right? And I've learned how to make sourdough bread in the last like month. So that's been like part of even just like it brings me happiness to like make bread, which is hilarious. But also like it's so like calming, and I know it's so like healthy and healing to like make your own stuff, which I'm not really like a cook per se. I'm really good at making salad. I'm really good at making soup, good at making muffins and dessert, but I'm not a like cook. Like don't come over for dinner unless you just want a salad or like soup and bread. um but that being said, I think there's something really calming and like nurturing about like even just baking. And I think when you're not in survival mode and you have that time to like bring healthy food into your home, I think that's something that really like takes you out of that survival mode into something that's choosing a little bit more like structure and happiness. And even just when you look at like meal prep, how much stress it takes off your like busy work weekdays, it can really like all add up, right? When you spend a few hours on the weekend just like organizing. And I don't really spend a few hours. I just make a big pot of soup on Sunday night, and then I like have that for the whole week. And then I've been making my bread on like I start the starter on Thursday so that I can then like do all the stretching and stuff on Friday so that the bread's ready to bake on like Saturday and Sunday. And it just is like organizing my time a little bit so that I can have those things to just like have that structure of like no stress, but also have the healthy food in my life. Before I would just go to the store and buy sourdough bread, but now it's like my new obsession. but it's like it's a healthy obsession and a healthier like choice that's brought a lot of happiness into my life. And it's weird how something as simple as like sourdough bread gets brought like this like level of happiness in. That's, I think, is like kind of funny. But I think like people don't realize how much, if you like to bake, like baking brings happiness into your life, right? If you don't like to bake, that's obviously not going to be your thing. But what is it that you really like to do? Maybe if you're a guy, like, or even girls too, but like generally speaking, men like to like tinker in the garage. So like maybe it's like organizing your vehicle, or like checking all the things on your vehicle, or maybe it's doing some woodworking that's like you really enjoy, right? I know a girl at work, she takes a pottery class, and she does pottery, and it's been like learning pottery, and it's like her thing, and she just absolutely loves it. And so I think sometimes as adults we forget that we still get to have our thing too. Right? Like, because if you are not full and your cup is completely empty, you have nothing else to give. And so as a parent, especially as a single parent, you need to have a full cup as well, so that you can pour that into your children. And so I think finding things that are going to help fill your cup, and it's okay also to ask for help when you need it, right? And so even if it's as simple as like, I just need somebody to help me pick up my kid so that I can go pick up my other kid. I only have one, but I know parents who have like two kids at different events, and they're like scrambling. Right? I'm tutoring a little girl, and they've got three kids, and it was like aunt or grandma that was picking her up from tutoring because mom and dad were with the like other children at their events, and they just must be like going like crazy all the time to be able to keep up with all of the events that their children have. So I think that it's really important sometimes to just like take a step and be like, how can I simplify my life? And what is it that I can do to simplify my life so that I'm not living in survival mode? And so maybe simplifying your life is like spending Sunday afternoon baking so that you're organized for the week, or something like that. Or maybe it's meal planning. I know people who like meal plan like every single day of their week, and I'm like, "Ah, I can't do that." I also don't want to do that. Like if I just like make something big and have a bunch of leftovers, perfect. um and then I'll like grab dinner one night of the week or something like that. But I think it's important when you do go to this also, so that you're not wasting food. When you do go to the grocery store, you have a plan of kind of what you want to eat that week, so that it makes it really easy, and you have it so that you're taking away some of those stresses. Like when I notice that I'm out of something, I put it on my phone so that when I go to the grocery store, I know exactly what I need. And I just keep adding the things to my phone so that when I go there, I'm like, okay, these are the things that we need, so that I'm not constantly going back and forth, because that takes time out of your day, right? And then that makes you feel more stressed. And so having like little tools that are going to help you with things that you might forget, those are things that are important to just give you some more time freedom as well. So how, when you're in survival modes, usually it's like lack of time, right? If you think about it for yourself, like when are you in survival mode? It's generally when you feel like you don't have enough time to get everything done, or there's just so much that you have to do. But if you take away certain things, or you structure different things into your life, then you'll find that you actually have more time than you thought that you did.
I like that. Do you eat bread all the time?
I've been like making it and then giving it away. Yeah. So I like me.
You
Yeah.
were the second person. Last night, my friend, she was like, "I've just finished work now. I'm just gonna have to have some bread. Is in the night, have some bread and go to bed. Bread and butter." I
Yeah.
was like, "Are you kidding me?" She goes, "In the day, I cook nice meal. I eat, but then in the night, I just have to." Just eat the bread and butter. And I was like, no cheese, nothing in on it. Just like, no. In the day I eat vegetables and things. I was like, oh my goodness. I wish I can have that kind of life.
It really
My
depends.
family here, they want cooked food every single day.
I was laughing at my friend actually because the one on Saturday, she was like, "Do you get?" We were supposed to have we had family games night, and I was like, Ella and I were gonna go out for dinner, but then we decided we were too tired to go out for dinner. We were just gonna like laze around the house. But I had made this like cinnamon chocolate swirl sourdough bread, and we just ate so much of that. She's like, "Do you want to come for dinner? Like we have lots." And I was like, "No, we just ate bread." She's like, "You
You
just."
eat the fresh one though, that which is good. The fresh one that you make at home is good.
I just made it today and it's like so good and you can't like I'm like we literally ate half a loaf of bread for like our dinner. But it was because it's so fresh and it's so good and you just don't yeah. And sourdough bread is a lot better for you than regular bread. So yeah.
I have to learn how to make bread. I've never bothered to learn how to make bread, but here in my household, these guys eat cooked food every day. If there's leftovers, they don't eat leftovers. It's me that has to eat it. So I was like, now I have to make sure that I cook little food, just enough, but it's never just enough. There's always something left out, so I have to eat it because otherwise they don't. But I think it is nice to create, to have that character because it's like when you decide this is who I'm going to be, I like bread, I like this, it's your character and it makes you happy. It's not created by somebody else, it's not planted by anybody else. And I think that's what brings joy when you are able to decide to be that person that you want to be. Um, as long no one has planted those beliefs or that has forced you to be that kind of a person, I think that's really, really nice. And also the patterns when you undo all the patterns, rewrite your story, anything that you were taught when you were growing up. For me, I don't know. I think my parents must have had some abilities or something. They never taught me anything rather than to become the person that I've meant to become. Honestly, my parents, they spend time just teaching me all these things like observing what I'm doing and just coaching me to do the things that I need to do. And even now that I'm older, I'm struggling to fit in with people that want me to fit in with who they are. I like to keep my individuality as a person, even though it's not perfect. I like to be me. I just don't like to fit in. I've tried it before. When you try to fit in with people, with the crowd, you just get so frustrated. You get anxiety. So I don't do that. And I struggle a lot with people. But the people that I align with is those who know who they are, who would never, ever, ever, ever try to negotiate their character with me, who just stands out with me and say, no, sir, this is who I am. Take me as I am, like yourself. You like bread, girl, you just eat bread. And sometimes some people, they do like other things. I'm like, you do that? And they're like, yeah,
It's
I
funny.
do that.
You're like your parents didn't teach you certain things. I'm like, nobody taught me how to like make sourdough bread. I like learned it off the internet essentially. Like I did have my one friend's daughter teach me a little bit when we were in Vancouver last year, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna make sourdough bread. I didn't make it until like a month ago.
Really?
Yeah, and because they were gonna send me home with starter on the airplane, I'm like, I can't take starter on the airplane. Like they'll look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, just have a carry-on bag. Like, what if they open my bag and I'm like, what is this like white goop? It's sourdough starter. It's like I'm not chancing going on the plane with sourdough starter. And so I yeah, I didn't and then she had taught me a little bit when I was there and I didn't remember any of it, so I like emailed and I was like, "Hey, Can you like tell me like the basic steps of like how to make sourdough? So she wrote me out the instructions, and then I watched TikTok videos and YouTube videos on what to do, and essentially it just eventually worked. So I just learned myself that the beautiful thing about the internet is you can learn almost anything on there, especially
Yeah,
like now I follow this sourdough bread baker lady and she's got all these ideas. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna try that. It's funny. Yeah, it's funny. You can really learn anything. It,
I have
you
to tell my daughter we need to learn to make bread and cookies.
Mhm. watch just start following people on TikTok or on YouTube that make them because it's amazing what you can make and what's out there.
Yeah, I think if I was living at your house, I might live on bread too because I like fresh bread. I like the smell, like when it smells. I just love that. I've not had any nice smelly here in UK if I go to bakery shops, but in Africa you can smell that beauty, the freshness of the bread. So that's why I don't bother. But I think if I was to live with you guys, I might join you and become like, when you just break it, the freshness of it. It sounds yummy.
Yeah.
It
Well, and
sounds really good.
like there's a bakery that I was always going to buy it, but it was like $8 a loaf, and
It's
I was like,
so expensive, the fresh bread.
because I won't eat bread out of like the grocery store. That was that's
Yeah, we
like
used
years
to.
ago. But and I don't eat regular bread, just sourdough bread. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to buy fresh bread and just make time to cook proper breakfast in the morning.
Mhm.
But I'm fasting for a very, very long time, and these kids are never here, so no one has time there's no one to cook for. So
So
I just have to cook dinner every day for them because dinner time everyone is at home.
yeah.
So I think that's good. And the joy about life is when you are able to observe your roles in the family system, where you like whether you are a peacemaker, overachiever, or the black sheep, those roles they shape your identity and self-worth. And it's really, really important. And also, like as a parent, to not to be out on the road all the time, like taking children out and things like that, and just have some me time as well. I think that is really, really important because if you don't have your activities, like Amanda, you go to the gym, and
Mhm.
when you go to the gym, you write your books, you get creative, and when you do these things, even when Ellie goes to uni, you have something to fall back on. You're not gonna be like, oh, I'm lost now. What have I got to do? What am I doing? That's why some parents, when the children are there, they are together. But once the children go to university, they decide to go separate ways because they have nothing to do. They're like, I don't have, but I think when people say we have nothing in common, sometimes it's laziness because a, a normal human being will do things together. It's like I'm a stranger. If I was to meet you and you say, Nomsa, I'm baking bread, would you like to join in and let's bake the bread? What is stopping me to actually shove in the flour and just enjoy it, baking that and at the same time learning? I think it's just the mindset where, because even myself, I used to limit myself and I would say, I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that. But when I started cleansing and really, really focus on my life where I'm putting chains in my life, I realize that actually I don't mind learning new things. I really, really don't mind. Yeah, I would do it with great pleasure. If someone says, Nomsa, let's do this, I would just do it. And then it makes me realize that when you're with people and when they say, because some of the things is the things that we've never tried before, we are like, I can't do that. I don't see myself doing that. We talk ourselves out. But when you just like do things and every day and learning new things, I think it's more fun.
Yeah, I think I actually made a like a little video the other day about like how often is it that you as an adult go out and you learn something new. And then also like recognizing like the anxiety surrounding learning something new, because often we think of children and we like make children learn new things all the time. We don't realize that there can be like anxiety behind some of like that learning, and then we see like oppositional defiance and stuff when kids don't have the confidence in a certain area. And we really need to recognize that as like it's probably anxiety. And once you build their confidence in a different area, then they'll be more willing to try something new. And so I think even, and I commented on my sourdough exploration of like how anxious I was and how I avoided it for a year, essentially trying, I had ordered the like starter off of Amazon, like I'd done all the things, but I hadn't actually started. And then when we were on strike as the teacher, I'm like, I've got lots of time. I'm going to learn how to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a year and I've just been avoiding it. But then the anxiety around like learning to do something new was like really challenging, because I was like, I emailed my friends from Vancouver. I talked to another girlfriend who had used to make sourdough bread. I was sending her like screenshots of my starter being like, is it ready yet? I was like, and then I was watching all these videos and I was like, is it going to turn out? Is it not going to turn out? How do I know that it's ready? And how there's like the one problem with the internet too is that like with sourdough bread especially is that like all of the instructions are different. Everybody does it differently. So you just kind of have to wing it a little bit and like just make sure that you have the starter going the proper way, and then the rest of it is kind of you can do it as long as you follow like the general of what a few of the instructions say. And but it was really anxiety producing. And then once I like did it the first time, I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then the second time I was like, oh, that was like, I got this now. And then I've like started exploring a little bit, and I saw this other recipe for like just regular bread that had cinnamon and cocoa in it. And so I added that to my sourdough just to see what would happen, because it was like, worst thing that happens, I throw out a loaf of bread that I made. It was so good. So my daughter's like, make that again next weekend. But just even in trying that new thing, I think we can be paralyzed by our anxiety because it like feels overwhelming. And for me, learning how to make sourdough felt very overwhelming. But now it's like, oh, I got this, right? I'm going to make it again this weekend. And it's like easy now that I like understand how to do it. But that learning curve is so steep at the start that it makes us avoid learning something new. And so that's something that when we look at the topic of they taught you survival, not happiness, sometimes survival is like avoidance of things that you actually want to do, because if it's something new and you haven't done it, then it feels really hard, right? And so our survival mode is like, I can't take that on because there's too much going on in my life that this is just going to be another thing and another stress and I don't have time for it, and I'm going to just put that over there and keep avoiding it. Like I avoided learning how to make sourdough for an entire year, even though I wanted to learn how to do it. And then I was like, okay, finally have time. And I did have time in the summer too, but I was like, in my head, I'm like, I don't want to make my house all hot with with baking bread in the morning. Like then the house will be hot because the oven's on, and I don't have air conditioning. So it was, even though it literally rained all summer here, it wasn't very warm. But those sort of things, like you can talk yourself out of it constantly. And I'm laughing to myself as I literally talked myself out of something I wanted to do for an entire year, or just like forgot about it and avoided it. And then every time I go to the store to like buy sourdough bread, I'd be like, God, I just need to learn how to make this. And I didn't until I finally did. And so sometimes I think when we're just taught the survival mode of the patterns from our childhood, it's really making us avoid happiness because we're scared to try something new. And it really is time to choose something different when you're like there's this little voice in your head that says like, you should try this, you should try this, you should try this. Well, like, now's the time. Whatever it is that that little voice has been telling you for like a long time, it's like, now's the time that you need to choose something different. So I have one friend who I see at the gym all the time, and they want to start swimming, but I'm like, okay, we'll go swim. And they're like, no. Like, but just go get in the pool. And it's like this like avoidance. And I'm like, once you just go once, like, it won't be so bad. And then go, because they're an adult and learning how to swim as an adult, I can understand, can feel very, very overwhelming. Um, because societally here in Canada, like, most kids learn how to swim as a child, and as an adult, it's like a completely different experience to learn how to swim and swim well. And so I think any adult who learns how to skate or learns how to ski or learns how to swim as an adult, like that like road, like, not a hurdle, that hurdle is a lot bigger than it is when you're a kid. Because when you're a kid, it's like, okay, I got this, right? Or like, it's expected that I'm going to learn this. But then as an adult, it's like, you almost feel like I didn't learn this as a kid. And so now I'm just going to miss out on it for the rest of my life, right? Because I should have learned that as a kid and I didn't. And so that was part of my survival story. And the only way I'm going to choose differently is when I actually get up enough guts to like get myself out there and actually do it. And if you want to learn something, then you have to go do it. So like here where I live, we're right by the mountains. So lots of adults, it would be, if you moved here, it'd be like, I'm going to learn how to ski, right? Or I'm going to learn how to snowboard. And to be an adult on that bunny hill with these like little kids ripping around beside you, or these little kids that are just like unbelievable because they've been skiing since they were 2 years old, like my daughter, right? It just would feel very overwhelming. But if you want to do something, then you have to get over that anxiety and that over that overwhelm so that you can show up. And I bet you will be so proud of yourself when you actually do it, right? Like when you look back in a year or 2 years and you're like, I finally did it. I finally started baking sourdough bread, or I finally learned how to swim, or I finally, whatever it is, that's your finally. Maybe it's learn how to dance. I always think sometimes maybe when my daughter's older, I'll learn how to like hip hop dance. I always thought that would be cool. I'll be this
You
like
can learn how to hip hop dance in the
6-year-old.
living room, Amanda.
Pardon?
You can teach yourself in the living room. You don't have
Oh, I
to worry.
know. I just in my I've gone to like Zumba and things like that, but um I always just in my head thought it would be fun to like go to a hip hop adult class and like learn how to do it. But I don't I've got a lot of things going on right now that it's
That
not.
is fun,
But
actually.
I do think that it would be fun at some point in time to like do that, right?
Yes.
And my daughter's grown up, that'll be my like fun thing that I'm like, I never took a dance class as a child. I want to take a dance class.
Yeah, that's fun. That would be fun. I think the important part of when it comes to life is when you actually ask yourself, who will I be if I wasn't trying to be who they needed me to be? And this question will reveal how much of your identity was shaped by trying to be safe or accepted. Like you want one day you want to go and learn hip hop dance, go hip hop dance. And really helps you to understand the roots of uh, tracing the pain back to its source. Like some people, they go through pain because they don't know their identity. And I think it's really, really important to really, really learn about who you are as a person. Like I said to myself, we are very, very lucky with my siblings that our parents, I don't know how my mom and dad they were created the way they are. For them, it's like we give you, we pay for your fees, you go to school, you do what you have to do, but we can't tell you this is the direction you have to take. You figure out yourself, figure out who you are meant to be. Once you figure out, then you get on with it. You don't complain. If you complain, it means you don't like it. You move on and try to do things that actually makes you happy. In a way, I felt at the time that they were being tough. But now that I'm older, I thank them for who they were. And sometimes, like my dad used to like teach me to manage his business. And if I manage his business, I'll go and do delivery. So if I go to someone's home, I deliver their whatever that I'm supposed to be deliver, and then I have to charge money for transport. And they'll be like, "You witnesses do that." I'll be like, "Yeah, it's far where I come from, you have to pay." So all these things, I think they are really, really important. But when I like now that I'm older, I had to create my own system that works for my character, that works for my identity. And mostly what I've realized is some people, they have not been able to achieve their goals because they follow the society. When the society tells you who you are supposed to be, you go to church. Some religion, they tell you that my way of system of following God is better than yours. This is the right way. So you end up following things that you don't understand, but God himself is very simple and straightforward. He wants you to love him, to pray, and just be normal. But sometimes people complicate, and then you have these people that have not accomplished their goals because of fear. They fear people around them that they are going to judge them. But for me as well, people have tried for me to be like them. So I'm like, I cannot be like you. Even when the social services, the woman came and said, we've got to get one thing straight here. I am not going to be what people expect me to be. If I go online, I'm going to keep my character. I'm going to speak how I want to speak. As long I'm not harming anyone, as long I'm adding value, God exists. Demons exist. Lucifer himself is a demon. So I even gave her, I said, go and listen to Pastor James. Pastor James worked with Lucifer from the age of 4. So I was like, he exists. My pastor worked for him. He exists. Even me, I was tortured by the guy. So I was like, you can go and listen to his testimony. And now he's one of the preachers, but he talks about his journey. So I was like, I'm not going to be what people expect me to be. If I'm not normal, it's okay. If people call me not normal, I'm okay with that. So I think it's really what is important in life when you do things, you rewrite your story, is really looking at your identity. Who am I? If anyone else were not here, but who will I be? And I think that will really, really help. Because those who don't know who they are, when you're married, the husband leave, they don't know how to cope because they don't know who they are. They don't love themselves. When a woman leaves them, they don't know how to cope because their coping mechanism is being with somebody else. But you have a single woman like you who have took a stand and say, I'm going to raise my children and be there for my daughter. Even though I'm a single mom, I'm going to be proud of who I'm becoming, who this life has presented to me. And your daughter will grow up and become something else. Mostly the children who are raised by single parents, they become successful. Yeah, they become successful because they don't want that life of suffering. They don't want it. So yeah, I think it's, do you have
I
any
think
words of encouragement?
I think too, there's two points of view on the suffering because if you stay in a really unhealthy scenario, then it's like more suffering than being a single parent. And I'm lucky that I make good money and I can take care of my daughter by myself. And so I think sometimes too that we don't realize that the alternative is actually a lot healthier for people in certain situations. And mine 100% is, it's a healthier option for me and for my daughter to be the way that we are. Our house is peaceful and calm, and we have an adorable kitten, and we've like been in this house for 12 years and it's been fantastic, right? I built this house right when I got divorced, and we've been here for 12 years, and it's just home, and it's cozy, and we love it, right? And so I think sometimes too that survival piece is about like learning to find calm, one, especially if you've lived through chaos. That would be my like final comment is learning to find calm when you've lived through chaos.
I like that, Amanda. I like it. For me, what I leave with you guys is number one, name what you needed but didn't get, and also understand the trauma responses: fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and then track your inner dialogue and set boundaries, even if you feel uncomfortable, and create the life that you want in life, and cut the noise. The noise is too loud. Cut the noise of this world and create the identity that you feel is right for you. Some people might not agree with that identity, but that's okay because it's your identity. So, guys, if you're watching from YouTube, please do subscribe to our channel, be part of the family. We have website is www.coach. If you want to be coached by Amanda, please do contact her on her social media and follow her as well on her social media. And she's on Instagram, she's on Facebook. Are you on Twitter, Amanda?
Yeah, it's not, I don't really do Twitter very much,
Are
but
you
yeah.
on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on LinkedIn. I'm not on TikTok, guys. Amanda thinks she's on TikTok. So I'm not on TikTok. I'm on all other social media. And just we have two groups as well: Unique Billionaire Mindset and Gossip Talk Shows. Follow us on our groups, join the groups, and be part of the family. Live with grace, everyone, and God bless. I shall see you guys tomorrow. Amanda.